All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to MLS Monday. We've got a great topic for us today, which is the new CMA and the new calculator that is coming out. And so Joanna will talk about that. Let's dive into our amazing topic, which is the new CMA and the new calculator. So let's do it.
Great handling.
Ready to go. Let's do it.
So with this, what we want to do for you guys, if you've been tuning in every Monday, a couple weeks ago, we just did the new search, and that was after it launched. We had a couple of tutorial videos ahead of time, but with the CMA, we are looking at launching that mid-November. Once we've got the exact date for that, you'll see it come out through email. But what we want to do is bring you guys an early preview to it. You can start getting ready for it, get a feel for it. You currently have CMA capabilities inside of Matrix, but it's going to get a huge facelift, and we want to be able to kind of bring you guys in on it in an earlier date. So that's what we're going to show you guys today. I know some people will probably show up a little late to the webinar and say, I don't have this. You don't have it yet, but it will be coming to you in mid-November. So we'll go ahead and share our screen. So with this, you're going to access it in Matrix just like you would previously with the classic CMA. What I want to point out is a lot like the search capability, you will be able to access the classic version as well as the new version. So if you don't like the new version and you don't want to learn something new, you can always go back to the classic until you're comfortable. The difference here, so the search we did a couple weeks ago, you've got the new search and then all the classics right here. Your difference here with the CMA, if you haven't updated your dashboard, that's this whole front end experience. If you're on the new dashboard, you will get the new CMA. If you're on the classic dashboard, you will get the classic CMA. The way to switch back and forth between those is right up here. You're going to click on your name and you can turn it back to classic mode, or you could turn it back or turn it to the new dashboard. Now, if you're in classic mode and you go into the CMAs, you'll notice it looks exactly the same. So this will stay classic. If you're more comfortable, just switch your whole dashboard back and you can stay here where you're more comfortable. For those of you who haven't used the CMA portion inside of Matrix before, this is just a quick preview of what the old one looked like. You can see there's a lot of empty real estate here. It looks very dated. It is very bulky. When you click Edit CMA, this was what you were commonly used to. Your tabs up here, your pages, your subject. Very self-explanatory process, right? You'll start, enter in your contact, pick out what pages you want involved, select your subject properties, and then save your PDF and download it. You go through each step. It's easy peasy. The new one is even easier. However, the visuals are going to be better. It's going to fill your whole screen. And the biggest complaint that we've gotten with this CMA is a lot of you now practice your real estate completely from like your tablets, maybe even your phone. And this was not compatible. You had to go on your computer to utilize this. So as we go through the new search, which we'll go ahead and switch over, or sorry, not new search, the new CMA, we'll go over to the new dashboard. We'll open that up. You'll notice it's going to fill your screen more, and it's going to be more compatible with the different devices that you're going to use. So in the new dashboard, it'll be located in the same spot. You'll hover over My Matrix and then come down to My CMAs. Now you can see here, we've been playing with the system a little bit. So we've got some addresses in there already. All of your prior CMAs will pull into your CMA manager if you're using the new one. If you created the CMA on the classic dashboard, when you click into them, they will open up into that classic version and you will have a button to switch over. But when you're starting fresh, if you're in the new dashboard and you click into your new CMA manager, this is what it's going to look like. Again, you'll see right away, it fills the screen more. It's more compatible with whichever device that you might be using, and it just looks a lot prettier. Instead of having to click into each thing to find your buttons are all available right here. You've got the edit button, and then you've also got an option to delete here, and you now have different viewpoints. So this is the list view. You can do a thumbnail view, and you can do a tile view with your photos. So you can now edit your experience to what's going to make you feel more comfortable. But let's go ahead and start from the beginning. of the CMA process. We've got the big orange button up here that says new CMA, and we're going to go ahead and click that. I'm going to move the little zoom faces. All right, so you're going to start with your subject property here, and we will use this example. Missing a space there. All right, so once you type in here, you'll see it's starting to populate some different options for the addresses. It will pull in data based off of any previous MLS that was in there, and this will also pull from Realist, which is your public record data. I am going to click this. It was the most recent MLS that was in the system, and it's going to populate information in there based on that input. However, we'll be able to go in there and change it. And if you want to, you can also attach it to a contact. So I've got myself plugged in here. So the new feature you've got right away, you'll see here is suggested comps. This is based on an AI system that is going to find what the computer believes is the best options for comparables for your property. And I know there's a lot of opinions around that. Like half of you are going, oh, that's so cool. And the other half of you are like, oh my gosh, no, like I choose all of my own comps. I don't want the system telling me what to do. What I will tell you is you can choose how many comps. So it automatically fills to 10. You can do 20, 30, 40, 50. At least do 10 because we're going to go through this process and I'll show you how you can remove it. But I like to see what the algorithm is going to choose, right? Because that's what your customers are already looking at. Before they've called you and said, hey, I want to list my house, give me your opinion. They've already formed their own opinion and they've gone out to, the Z word, the R word. They've gone to all these sites. And that number that they've gotten is based on an algorithm. So I want to see what the algorithm is going to bring, because if these properties are way off base, at least I know what the customers already looked at. And, I can tell them, well, yeah, you thought your house was way more expensive because the system automatically draws in your neighbor's house and it's got all these upgrades you don't have, right? Like, let's see what the algorithm thinks to be able to form those conversation pieces. And if you don't like those comps, we'll take them out later. So we're going to go ahead and click Create CMA. So right away, you can see that this view is entirely different from what we had for a CMA before. Still all the same great features and even more data points for your property comparisons. So right away, you've got the tiles running here across the top. And what they're doing is you're first taking a deep dive into the comparables and the data. If you heavily used the CMA prior, it was one tab. Your comparison properties were just one tab. You were looking at them, you had like a few buttons. You now have 4 different tiles for comparison based on how you want to view your different comparables. So right here, running along the left-hand side, we've got the 10 different comparables that they have chosen. And you've got options. You can get rid of them if you don't like them. You can also choose the order in which they show up by dragging and dropping them. But if you don't like any of these, they're not right, you need more, you can always click Find More Comps and add in any other properties that you want. We will come back through this process and I'll show you how to start without the AI properties if that is your intended purpose of using the program. But for right now, let's go through and see what all of these comparables look like. So this is the map. It's showing us where our subject property is and all of the comparables that the algorithm has chose for us. So we can kind of see from a location bird's eye view, how far are they apart from each other? Are they right around us? What are we looking at? From there, you can go to the next tile, which is the comparison. And this is probably where you'll spend your most time. It'll compare each and every property side by side here. We scroll through these, but you can also scroll up and down and it'll compare every piece of data across properties. So this way you can look, everybody focuses on different pieces of the property. Maybe you're checking to see, do they each have a pool? Which ones don't have a pool? Maybe you are comparing square footage and you want to look at those side by side. You can. The comparison tab does allow you to also change the viewpoint. So this is your side by side view. You can also do the horizontal view, so you can scroll through it this way instead. Or you can do a photo comparison, especially for those properties that are very specific with lots of upgrades and you're trying to find other properties that are like that, or maybe it's a fixer-upper and you're trying to eliminate the properties that are high-end. You can do a visual representation of each property and click through and scroll through here. Now, all of these different views have X's at some point where you can delete the ones that you don't need. As you go through the process, you can remove them. So whether you're on the map view and you want to delete the property, if you're in the comparison view, you want to get rid of the property, you can do that. And I do see, I think we've got a question. Let's see. Can you use the AI version and manual choices together? Marie, yes, you can. So if we come back to the map on here, this is the 10 that it's selected. We would get rid of the ones we don't want, keep the ones we do want, and then we would click find more comps. And that will open the search and we can add to. So maybe 10 isn't enough for you, or you don't like anything that the systems chose. You can click find more comps, run a search, and pull those in from there. Let me see if we've got another question here. Love that we can see the pics so easily. We do too. Some of us are visual people. So, yep. So this is going to be your different comparison views there. And again, to Marie's point, we've got a lot of people that love the visual representation. You can do that. AI also will break it down if you want to. Right now it's displaying all the photos, but if there's just one particular part of the house that's got massive upgrades, like maybe it's the kitchen, they've got like specialty kitchen, you can click kitchen and it'll just pull up the pictures of the kitchen to compare side by side.
Yeah, this is gonna save so much time when you're doing a CMA because you have those pain points or non-negotiables for the buyer that they want the upgraded kitchen, they want, and you may have a house that may not be upgraded on the outside, but they put a lot of money into the kitchen. You don't have to go through every single one of them, you know, when you're looking at it. You know, this one had, you know, didn't upgrade it. You can look at the kitchens that were, and maybe those are ones you eliminated.
Yeah.
The whole idea of a CMA is to have apples for apples, and if they're all red delicious, they're all red delicious. You don't want a green apple and this apple and that apple, 'cause then you do the, you know, adjustments on that, and that could be a nightmare. But yeah, I love that because that's some of the things too that your customer sits down and talks to you about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I do. I go, you know, I just got my upgraded bathroom. I'm like, yeah, we know all of these comps we have upgraded bathrooms we're using.
But they're going to fixate on it. But this allows you to focus in, is it a data point that they're focused on, or is it a visual point that they're focused on,
Correct.
right? And whether it's for you or for your customer, everybody works differently. You've got that here. And like I said before, you had one tab to compare all of your data. It is now broken out like in 100 different ways so that you can really, really kind of quickly dive deep into your comparisons.
Yep.
Your other option after you do your different side-by-sides of your comparisons are the full property views. So this will list out all of the properties you have in your comparable list, and you can click through them here, but it will open up the full property view as you would see it on MLS. So you've got the full listing from whether, you know, it's active, pending, sold, and you can look at the tax roll, you can look at the photos, the history. It'll open without having to open a separate screen, which that happened a lot with the old CMA. You would open a different screen and people would kind of get lost. It now opens on a side panel instead of opening in a separate tab, and you can click through each of these if you need to take a deep dive into those comparables to decide which ones you want to keep or not. And again, every single tile, you can delete them right here. And the last tab we have here is the summary. And I think when they displayed this for us at the conference, this was our favorite part. They're going to take every comparable and put it on a visual representation of a line. So this is your price here. And these are all of your different comparisons. The average is marked right here. Really, really good visual representation for you and for your customers. You can see how widespread they are. Sometimes they do stack on top of each other if you've got a lot of data points. So you can change your view here. You can do the small cards here, and it numbers them out based on your list. So your list had 1, 2, 3, 4. So it shows you 1. You can click it and open it. So if you have too many data points, you can collapse them, or you can go ahead and expand them. And then you can expand them even further here, which it'll put the photos and the tiles on this range for you for your price. But this will show you by price. You can also change it. So you can look at things by square foot, and then you could do price per square foot. And that'll give you a good visual representation of where the average is and what the rest of the properties land on that mark.
Yeah, I know surprising that the expireds are where they're at, way up there. on price.
Yes. So the question was, can we use this feature for empty land comps? Absolutely. So if you were doing vacant lots, which actually the list I first opened up with all the examples that we've run before, a few of those are vacant lots. You would type in the address for the vacant lot and it's going to pull the comps around it. It is the algorithm looks at what type of property is this? Is it a vacant lot? Does it have improved property on it? Because it's looking at bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. It's looking at all of those data pieces when it's pulling it in. And then you're also going to be able to pull in your own comps. Suzette. So yeah, vacant lots, absolutely. Any type of property. If we've got anybody on here that does commercial, if you're doing rentals, every piece of data, any type of property that you can put in the MLS, you can pull a comp on here for.
Yeah, and I only see that. We had a really good MLS Monday last week that talked about AI, and the AI stuff is getting to the point where visually people can't tell if something's been AI adjusted. And the same thing with this. AI is getting so good, it's pulling some really amazing comps.
That's why I look at it. Sometimes it's going to be smarter than me.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, you can always add your own stuff to it. It just gives you a great starting point, because one of the hardest things is, how do you start looking at those comps? What are you looking at? Are you gonna look at measures of bass first? Are you gonna look at how close they are to that subject property?
Yeah. I'm laughing at so Angie wrote in, she said, this is so 2025. Thank you for bringing us into this century. Thanks, Angie. We're excited too.
Yeah, I know. Well,
It's about time.
it is, and I love the new tools. I mean, when you guys see the new calculators, it's gonna blow your mind too. I mean, this is, the board of directors made a decision last year for us to couple our data, still share data, but have our own database and our own matrix system. And part of that is the ability for us to really do the things we're doing, because this wouldn't have been done for you at this point in time had we kept what we were doing. So we had to make that bold choice and get the support of the board to do this. And this is what we're seeing. This is us moving at a pace that is good for the customer, for the MLS team to put it together, for the new century. So
yeah, awesome. All right, so with this timeline, you can also, last button here, you can zoom in and zoom out as needed. So if you've got like a lot of comparables on this screen and you need to spread them out, you can. You can. Lots of little editable features in here to work through that. So these are your 4 tabs here for comparison. You'll notice when you open it up, we automatically landed on map, which I always find interesting, but you can go backwards if you need to the subject property. We talked about the fact that, we searched this address. It said, hey, is this what you're talking about? We clicked it. It opened this up, right? It's going based off of the tax roll, the last MLS input. But if you're finding that that data is incorrect, whether it's just incorrect or maybe, hey, they just added in a 4th bedroom, so there's changes and updates that aren't on the public record yet, you can come in here and change the data for that subject property as needed. It's going to show you the map, the longitude, latitude, basic tax information, features. These are all things that you can change. You can also change out the photo. It's pulling in that last photo, and I suggest you either take your own, use your own, but it's pulling in the last one. It does have the copyright mark on there, so you are protected. It's, Florida Gulf Coast MLS stamped. But you can change out all those things here. The thing that is really cool at the bottom here for the subject property that I want to point out, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to use this feature. So if you guys are on this webinar, or you're watching this on YouTube, pay attention to this part. Down here, the custom fields. So when we were at the comparison point, we had all of the different data fields that were pointed out, but it's going to be a preset use based on like how often that field is used. If you've got something very niche, every field that is in the MLS is listed here. So you could plug in a custom field that doesn't display here to have it specifically displayed. Maybe, you want to choose, we'll scroll here. I'll make a fool of myself and do this live. You want to choose exterior features or fences, fenced yard, yes or no.
Why? Yeah.
So you can plug in some of those custom ones, and then it will show up on the comparison report so that you can compare the different fences. So now we've got fenced yard, yes. And then it would pull in if anybody clicked yes for that. So if that's a big I don't want to say pain point,
selling
but
feature.
selling feature for that property.
Yeah.
Especially for those of you that are selling inside of communities with HOAs, if they've got like different fees, you've got the different subdivisions inside of the communities. You can plug those in. Mine goes to like 100 different
Right,
places,
water
but the
feature.
special feature part here on the subjects, you know, for those
That's-
of you that got niche properties,
That's fire.
It's fire.
It is
Thank you,
fire
Jason.
because you can also go, I
I
mean,
nerd out about the little things.
yeah, I mean, you can talk about water, right?
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. I mean, this is kind of cool. This is something that you don't have with other CMA programs out there.
Yeah, they focus on like the big things that everybody has
Yeah.
nationally, but like especially for our area, it's so hyper local. And even just from Fort Myers to Cape Coral, you know, our Cape Coral people, like you said, obsessed with waterfront. Fort Myers here, it's all about
Golf
the
course community,
golf,
kind of
yeah.
golf. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you put in
Endless,
there. Yeah.
endless.
Yep. And you can really truly then compare Red Delicious apples to Red Delicious apples.
Yes, you can. So I always suggest, you know, it's going to automatically land here. You're going to go through your different comparables, go back, check the data on the subject property, right? We don't want to just trust it. And then go ahead and add in those special features for comparison that you need. All right, so the other button that we have here, this little pop out, is the CMA details. This is where you can kind of customize it to what you need. You can name your CMA. So type in here whatever you need. This will name your CMA. The photo, this is a second place where you can change that cover photo. Your contact information will go there. You can add personal notes.
And are these shared with the customer, the personal?
Yep. And Joanna can't type. So
Nope.
there's that. I'm going to put them in here so that when we produce that CMA, you're going to see exactly where they land.
First.
Remarks, it's automatically come up with the remarks that were from the last listing for it. So you can change those out. That's something you can go over with your customer. Maybe you're already thinking about the remarks you want to put in the MLS. This could be a good way to get their blessing on it. What you believe the subject property price should be. So this is going to be like your 2 cents. You can change it to a range or keep it at a number. We're going to make this one $1 million.
Ooh, that is your opinion. That is your opinion.
That is a off base opinion there. Obviously, they're pulling here what the information from the CMA, the work that you've already done. They are giving you that AVM. So you could use a range. And I know a lot of people who practice say, well, whatever they're giving for the AVM, I like to do 10 above and 10 under. If I get there and it's like a pigsty, or if I get there and it's perfect, you know, everybody's got their different range that they're comfortable with. So you could look at that AVM, set the range and say, the camera is
$1 million to
in
$1.2
the way.
million.
Oh, $1 million to $1.2 million based on that AVM.
Based on that AVM.
That's why you don't practice anymore. And I can't type numbers either. That's what you got.
Million,
All right.
200.
So just don't. So then based on your suggested price, you could put in my suggested price message. So you would say, you know, I came up with this
I
because
had
of
for breakfast, and that's why you got this price. Oh boy.
It's a wonder anybody tunes in anymore. I really can't type today, you guys.
And can I say something like practically real quick?
No.
Okay.
But go
so
ahead.
I'm going to.
No.
So on a practical matter, like on all seriousness, so from wearing a practitioner hat for 18 years to being now a consumer, if you came and got a picture of my house and it's not the one from the MLS, because I may have done something different.
Oh, we're getting on this soapbox.
You're gonna get brownie points from that customer. I'm gonna guarantee it.
Don't be lazy.
I mean, it was
time in this market.
when I lived the previous life, it was a requirement. Take the time. I'll carry a dang camera in your pocket, right? Call it a cell phone. Go out there and take that picture of that photo and use that picture of what the house looks like today, not what it was. Because I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times it is differently. Drive the neighborhood, look at the comps. When you do this, look at the comps. On paper, it looks great, but when you drive through there, you don't know. And this map is a great map, and I love the map. I love this is my favorite feature. However, you don't know if that's next to a Roman Catholic church. Number 3 on Kismet. You don't know, right? You can't tell. There's no buildings there, but it could be. Whether or not that adds value or takes value away, you don't know. But it's one of your highest comps, right? So what makes that so high? on the pricing. You don't want to drive by it, look at it, just from a
Well, I
practical
will tell
standpoint.
you, number 9 is near the reverse osmosis and it smells really bad. So
Well, and
that's
you
why you
can't
want to
tell
drive.
that. You can't tell that on the computer because
Near the water point.
my office smells like spring here. So, but you don't know that. So take the time and look at this stuff. I
Yeah.
always tell you, you can't do a true CMA from a desk.
Yeah. So, oh, and I collapsed this while I was talking. So make sure you click save at the bottom.
Save.
All right, guys, learn from my lessons.
Learn from your lessons.
All right, so once you're done, again, down here, you've got like the little synopsis. So as you're putting in your suggestions, you've got like this cheat sheet to look at, and then we're going to go ahead and click save, and it'll update on the report that we're going to bring you guys to here in a minute. So we've gone through all of the comparisons, how to edit your subject property, editing the features here, personalizing your CMA. Now let's take another step further, and this is your next step in the process, this personalization button. For those of you who have commonly used the classic CMA, you're probably going, okay, where are all the other sheets? Where's everything? It is all going to be here under that personalized button. So when we click this, you will see we now have a long list of different pages that we can add into our CMA. So to add them, you will just click here. It says include page, but it basically you're clicking on the eyeball. I'm going to open all of them up so we can go through them. You've got cover sheet and then you've got cover sheet without a photo, but we're going to just use the full cover sheet here. So let me just click each of these for you guys really quick. But you'll have a lot of pieces in here. Your first half of your pages are going to be based on the data points that you chose. The second half of your pages are going to be additional marketing pieces that Matrix has provided for you based on data. So first and foremost, your cover sheet. It's pulling in that photo that was priorly listed on the MLS. Hopefully you go out and take your own photo. It's got a quick map, and then it'll have your branding and information here. If you've never updated your branding or information inside of Matrix, I suggest you do so. Click on your name and then come out here to settings and come out here to manage and branding. Make sure your stuff is updated so that it pulls in properly. All right, the next page here is the summary list. So it's giving us a quick layout of the active listings, the sold listings, terminated listings. It breaks them down side by side. So for a good amount of you, I know there are people who only use our quick CMAs. They don't do the full CMAs. That's fine. That's great. But you'll notice that this looks like the quick CMA, right? The same tables, the same layout, but it's so much prettier. It looks so much better. So I suggest if you only like doing the quick CMAs and you only want some fast data, use the new CMA and just include this page or maybe the summary page too, but it will fill the PDF a lot better as well.
Yeah, it looks good when it's printed.
Yep. All right. Price adjustments are listed here. So this is going to give you a quick review of what you decided to keep. Anything you did not keep will not be here. And this will give the customer the entire side by side. And if you went in and edited any of the data, it would show the price adjustments in there. The Pro report is going to give them a little preview of those listings. So it's got the remarks, the square foot, what it's listed for, the address, year built, how many miles away from the property it is, and the date that it was either active, sold, terminated, basically the last status change that they saw on that property, giving them a quick view of each of those properties that you chose to be in the comparison report. Price recommendation. So this gives them a little synopsis about pricing. And then this is going to give them the numbers based on the comps that you chose. And then you can see here, this is your suggestions. So this is what you would have typed in your suggestion box. And this is the $1 million awful recommendation I gave for the CMA for the price of this house. If you chose a range, the range would show here, but you really want to fill out that suggestion box here because you can see they give a good amount of space to it. It's a good size real estate.
Yeah, and people will listen to you in these meetings as you all well aware of it.
Yeah.
But they're gonna go back and reference this. Like I tell you, personally speaking, when I sold the house, I had 5 realtors I interviewed. And that
story.
the information, I'm not gonna get into the story right now, but we'll do one of this of my stories. How's that?
Yeah.
MLS Monday adjacent stories. But I did keep that and I did go through that when they left to help me pick who I was gonna pick. But
Yeah, you're always going to have different personalities, and that's why you have the option here to include all the pages, only some of the pages. Like your analytical people, like they need every detail. They need to feel like they're making that decision themselves and that they've got all the research. Your people who are just like, nope, just give it to me straight. They just want the numbers. Well,
yeah,
maybe you just include a couple of those pages. That's why this new CMA is so editable. It's going to fit multiple personalities.
yeah, it's totally customizable. I mean, I love it.
Yeah. All right, so then we've got activity versus timing. So I know it makes you want to turn your head. So weeks on market. So this gives them a good days on market comparison, especially right now. That's a hot topic. This is a graph to use. Um, so my guarantee to you is a promise that they wrote in here. You can use it. You don't have to. This is where it kind of gets into, they've provided you extra fluff to put in your CMA. If you've got your own stuff, I'll show you how to upload that. But this is just added marketing for you if you don't, you're starting fresh and you don't have that kit. So it's a guarantee that you're giving your customer to work on behalf of them.
Or you could put in there kind of how you work the process
Yep.
from, listing contract to launch. What's that look like?
Yep.
What you do for photography, what you do for additional marketing, all that stuff could be in
Yeah.
there.
We'll show you guys how to add PDFs in here, but it's really important. Like I wouldn't just skip over that step. You need to have
That's the sizzle.
The sizzle.
That's the
Is
sizzle.
that going to be another MLS Monday? The sizzle.
The sizzle.
All right. So this is information on effects over pricing. Great graph here. Good conversation piece to have with them. The benefits of using a realtor. So this list here is pretty short. If you don't have your own, it's just something simple to put in front of them, but I highly suggest you have your own. Why use me?
Yep.
As Jason pointed out, your whole list of everything you're going to do.
Testimonials go a long ways here too.
This is an education piece of what the market analysis.
Easy for you to say.
The explanation in here that kind of breaks down what goes into a CMA. All right, breeze through these really quick. The importance of pricing, nice little graph here. And some, I know it does. You keep looking at everything sideways. So this talks to them about the importance of choosing the right price, the importance of setting the price. I'm going to mess up every single one of these.
Okay, it's Monday.
We've got the pitfalls of overpricing. This is a big conversation right now. Everything's sitting on the market. Everybody's kind of still wanting the most they can get for their property, but they want to sell it in 3 weeks. This is a great visual to provide them. Sources of the buyer. They did this through the research with NAR of where the consumers are finding their homes to purchase. Obviously, the top there is internet. Second is through their real estate agent. Yard signs. I'm really surprised it's up that high. But a great representation.
7 things
I know, is internet. So just a quick graph that you can share with them. And I don't know if we have any questions yet. I was going through this with somebody before and they said, well, what if we want to edit these? The marketing pieces that CoreLogic's providing, you can't edit this exact page, but you can make your own. You could add your own. So take this, they're like, oh, I want to expand on it. I want to put all more stuff. Okay, well, take the graph, put it in your own program, expand it, and then upload it if you want to do that for sure.
Yeah.
And then this last one here is a CMA map. So this gives them what you were looking at before when you were creating the CMA. Now they can visually see the map and where all of the comparisons land on there. Now, if you wanted to add in your own PDFs, your own marketing pieces to this, you can simply by clicking up here. So if you click add, you can drag and drop your PDF here, and then it will add it to the bottom and you can rearrange these. So once you add it in here and if you maybe want to put it to the top, you want to put it in the middle somewhere, wherever you want to put it, you add it here, it'll add that to the tab here and be there for your next CMAs as well.
Yep.
If it gets too messy or you're out here playing around with it, you do have a reset button, and then you do have a set as default. So every time you come out here, if you maybe choose the same 5 pages every time and you've got your own ones listed out here, make sure you click this button to set it as your default. So you're not kind of
have to
creating the
upload that
wheel
every
every
time.
single time, for
Yep.
sure. For sure. All right, we've got a question. Can this be done for rentals as well? Yep, any type of property that you can put in the MLS, you can use the CMA feature for lot and land, commercial, rentals, all of the above. Yep.
Yeah, I would put that to set as default. And again,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at this is all inclusive. You can put this really together as a big packet. Having your testimonials on there from your previous clients in print, including that, including your marketing plan.
Yep.
You can use several different things. You use Canva to make some of this stuff. You can use Fiverr, Fiverr. For $5, they'll make the graphics look just like it. You can have it branded in color. If you color brand, you can add that stuff in there. It's a great small investment. But some of those personalized pages will set you apart from other agents at that same, going to that same house to that appointment. So
Yeah. I do want to point out they've got the button up here to change style. So they're not loaded right now. They will be before we launch. There's one style in here, but you'll be able to choose from multiple different styles as well. So if you don't really like the vibe of the cover sheet and the layout, you will be able to
I
change
do
out
like that
that.
house though.
This
That's a
one,
nice house.
that may be $1 million. I don't know about my
That's a
home.
nice house. It's like the modern look. I like that.
Okay, so at any point while you're in the personalization stage, you can go back. It'll bring you to your comparisons again. You can switch between the personalize and back to the comparisons as many times as you need. Just make sure before you leave your CMA, you use the big save button up here. Save your CMA. We don't want you to lose any of your work. So when you are in this view and when you are in the personalized view, that share button will always be up here in the corner, regardless of where you're at, where you end your journey, whether it is with your comparables or when you're personalizing all of those pages. This is how you're going to send it out. So if you want to, you can click view presentation. It'll open that PDF and then you can just save it yourself. Maybe you want to send it through your own email. You don't want to send it through Matrix. Easy peasy. Click view presentation, it'll open up that PDF, save it, and send it how you want to send it. If you would like to use Matrix to send it out, then you will simply type in your contact here and choose them, enter your subject, your message, and then send it out. Lucky for you guys, we are just like Good Morning America, and we already have a cake baked. So this is what that email is going to look like when it comes from Matrix. Now, for me, I don't have my branding in here, so it's automatically putting One Home and the One Home colors. If you've updated your branding, it will put your logo and your color of choice up here along with your headshot. My email, obviously, I didn't put a lot of fluff in there. It just says, as promised, attaches your CMA. That is something that I wrote, so make sure that you fill out your message here for what you want to display here. So once they get this, they'll click View CMA, and it'll open up that PDF for them inside of the web browser. So you've got multiple options there, right? You'll either download it yourself, send it out yourself, or you'll use this route and you will send it out via the Matrix portal. I do suggest go out here once we launch next month, run a CMA on your own property maybe or a friend's property, get yourself comfortable with it, do like print every page, right? So you can see what every single page is going to look like, add a lot of comps to it. So you can see what they look like side by side, get yourself comfortable with it. That way, when somebody calls you and they're ready to go, they need a CMA, you're not figuring it out on the go. You're already comfortable, you're ready to go with it. But that is the bulk of the new CMA and what it looks like. We're still also going to cover calculators, but if anybody has any questions on the CMA, let us know. We can hop back into it at any point if needed. Do you have anything else you wanted to add onto the CMAs?
No, I would just say, use it. I think it's one of the better tools out there. I used Cloud CMA, which, was nice. I've used a lot of upgraded CMA programs. Some people use RPR. This is really good because within the MLS itself, and you can customize it. And I think anytime you have native data and you can put customization into it, it's a win. And you got branding that you got built in here too.
Yeah.
It's a win. A lot of places are selling similar CMA systems to agents for $20 a month. And I think that you've got everything you need here to present in a very professional way to your customers, whether you email it or you print it out, you put it in a nice book, whatever you're gonna do with it, I think it's good. So with that,
All right.
let's jump into these calculators, because I'm super excited about those
You're
too.
super excited. All right. So before we hop over there, I just want to hop back to the CMA manager portion. This is where all of your CMAs will be saved. You'll see the one that we just did listed here. Kind of gives you a brief synopsis of your comps, what you're looking at, and then you can edit it at any point. And if you need to delete it, you can delete it, email it, do anything you need right here from the screen. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. Let me move these buttons again. Move them. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hop into the new calculators that we are getting as well. That will come out the same time as the new CMA. We have calculators right now. They're very outdated. So coming into finance, what you guys typically see are the finance calculators. Promise it'll load. There goes. And this is a quick synopsis of what you are used to seeing. Again, lots of empty real estate, a little outdated. And we will be switching over to the new calculator. There will not be the old calculator and the new calculator. It'll just be the new calculator when we launch. They work exactly the same. They just fill the screen more. They look prettier. So there's not a learning curve with them. But once we launch these, it will just be the new calculator piece to this. So running down along the left-hand side here, you can see that these are all the different types of calculators that you can utilize in the system. First and foremost is the mortgage calculator. This will help you sit down with your customers, figure out what their monthly looks like, and what is going to what piece of that monthly payment. You have anything to add on that?
No, I mean, you can fill it out as you go, obviously, on the right-hand side there, it'll change the numbers. Credit score is important, that's gonna be based on the interest rate they're gonna pay. You have the HOA amount, that's a monthly amount, so it's, put all your numbers in there and it will come up with, yeah, your payment went up $1,000. But yeah, it's cool, I mean, it's live and it's intuitive.
Yes.
A great way to show somebody when they say, what's my mortgage gonna be with everything there?
Yeah.
Depends on your interest rates, that kind of thing. So, but it's a great little calculator there.
All right, amortization.
It's Monday.
It is. All right, so this one's pretty cool. You've got the whole graph here that's showing the balance as the balance goes down, how much is going towards principal, how much is going towards interest. And this is based on the numbers that you've put in here, your home price, what are they giving for a down payment, what does that mortgage look like, the interest rate, when is it starting. It'll give you a summary, but you can also come down here and turn on the schedule. And this will give you line by line for each month. And then it's going to show you how much is going towards principal and how much is going towards interest. So if your customer is trying to kind of get an idea of what they want to do, maybe they've got multiple options for mortgage and they're trying to figure out, how that's going to affect them in the long run. This can really help you have that conversation with them.
Yeah, especially going from a 30-year to a 20-year, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes the payment doesn't move much because your interest goes, you're paying less interest. So looking at some different options there's your 20-year, your payment's gonna be about a little bit more, but you get this thing paid off and you can see that around year 14 is where, more of your principal gets paid. So that just different looks.
All right, cash out refinance calculator.
Yep, so you put your home value in here, loan balance they have left, how much cash out. Loan to value, 85%, I'll tell you what that is. And then interest, again, it's gonna tell you what is available for cash. It's gonna tell you basically what your payment's gonna be. Again, you can play with the numbers, put some real numbers in there, but this is great for somebody that's gonna do a cash out refi, maybe to purchase another investment home or a vacation home or, whatever the case may be. So, great little calculator for that.
Yep. Affordability. We were having fun with this one earlier.
Yes, what can I afford? So you're gonna put your annual gross income in there. So you put your what you make, your monthly debt.
What you're
Mine are
spending
backwards. My $600 a year, my debt's 90,000 a month. And then your down payment amount, property taxes, etc., your credit score. This can tell you what you can afford. If you're stretching, your payments, or if you're being overly aggressive, or it's affordable. So
Yeah.
that's gonna go based on what numbers you put in there, but really truly what you can afford. And on top, it's gonna give you how much house you can buy based on your numbers. So, to me, every time I get out of bed in the morning, I'm aggressively stretching. So, that's just my age. But yeah, it's a cool little calculator to figure out. Because some people, when you buy a car, you're buying based on payment.
Yes.
This is buying a house based on what you can afford based on payment.
And a lot of customers will come in and say, I don't know what I can afford, which, maybe this is
Well,
broker
what's
advice, but go
interesting,
to your mortgage lender. However, this can help with some conversation
well, yeah, I mean,
pieces.
I always go to your broker, I always go to your
Mortgage lender.
mortgage lender, but part of it is, I'm approved for 400,000,
Mhm.
right? But I want a house under 250. Well, can they really afford it? And what's that look like? And if they are stretching it, which this is looking at this one stretching it, so
Stretching,
um
stretching.
stretching aggressively stretching in the morning.
All right, this is a way to compare mortgage loans. It's very basic. You've got home prices, down payments, loan term, and the interest rate. So again, your customer comes to you, they're like, hey, I've got two different options here. I've been offered two different types of loans. What are your thoughts? You can plug the basics in here, click compare loans, and then you've got the comparison down here, which will give you the monthly payment. So this was the first option. This is the second option. This is the difference, the total interest paid over the amount of the loan, and the total cost of the loan, right? So it would cost them a million.
Million three difference. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, this is great when you're talking about, a 3.7 arm, or you're talking about those types of things that people typically are looking at, or, they're looking at conventional versus FHA, or they can get a, different type of loan with, 3% down versus 7% down, and the interest rate may be different. This is great to show what the actual cost of that loan is. Now, rarely, unless you're my parents, are going to be there when they pay off their house, right? People move. So to stay there for 30 years, you may not have that, but it's still good to know from that perspective.
The stories of Jason. All right, rent versus buy. Very, very cool, especially right now. A lot of people are asking that with the way that like prices are moving.
And I love this from a marketing perspective, right? I mean, you're looking at,
I mean, take these.
I don't know why your home's always $1.3 million here, but let's say it's a $400,000 pool home,
Dreaming big.
in Cape Coral, whatever, and your down payment, sometimes it is cheaper to buy than to rent. Sometimes it's cheaper to rent than to buy, but
Yeah.
this will give you that picture, and give you the numbers to include in your marketing based on this advertisement. These are the numbers we used. But I love this. I love this comparison here.
Yep. And you could take numbers for maybe averages that you might have in your neighborhood, your city, like whatever it is that your focus point is, plug the averages in here and then take a screenshot of this and share it out on social, send it out in your newsletters. Like,
Yep.
here's the data, guys.
Yep.
And here's what you're looking at. Make it hyper local for them, because you see a lot of statistics come out from other companies that say like on a nationwide, here's the comparisons and here's the difference. Well, great from a national point of view, but like we're very different down here. That data is going to be so different. So plug it in for your neighborhood and share it out.
Yeah, especially when you look at some of these luxury apartments that are still throwing up. I mean, it's
They're going up
$3,000,
everywhere.
$4,000 a month of rent in some of these
Yep.
places. Crazy.
Yep. Seller proceeds calculator. You can use this and plug it into your net sheet if you already have one. If you don't have a net sheet, you can go ahead and use this. The sales price, the outstanding mortgage balance that they have. You've got advanced controls here where you can plug in the commission getting paid out, the escrow, the tax, any seller's concessions there might be, repairs that they're doing, or other expenses. And then it'll plug it down here on this beautiful little chart and show them what they're left with. And then it'll break down where that money is going so that they can see it from a visual representation.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, I don't know how many deals I've been able to not really talk to me, but give them a visual that they would accept the offer, where they typically would not have, because they're netting what they need to net, right? They may say, that's a horrible, horrible offer. And then you show them the numbers, like, oh, well, that's not bad. I'm walking away with that. Yeah, that's what you're walking away with. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yep. So you can go ahead and fill this out and it'll update that chart for you live. Buyer's closing cost. Similar concept, but this is going to be for the buyer side. So purchase price, down payment, when they're gonna close, when their first payment is due. And then you've got all of these additional options in here that you can fill out if you want. And it's going to also give them a chart breakdown so that they feel a little bit more confident as they are putting in the offer. Maybe some things change throughout the process, negotiations, things like that. And they'll be able to get a nice little visual representation there of what they're going to be expected to pay at the closing table.
Yep.
Mortgage rates.
So this is fun. I mean, based on your credit score, you put that in there. It's going to tell you what the mortgage rates are. It's a live kind of calculator. So
Put this earlier, 624.
yeah, 624 in there, you can pay 0.5% more. Kind of a cool thing because some people don't think they can get mortgage, mortgages.
Well, and then it shows them also like how is that going to affect the rate. So somebody might say, hey, I've got fair credit right now. I've got a couple of different options to bring it up to 750. How is that going to affect my interest rate? Well, here's what it looks like at 624. And then here's what it looks like at 750. Let's, go ahead and run that comparison.
Right, exactly. To have 0.5%.
Yeah. So, and then you've got property specific insights. When you come out here, this will be collapsed. So you want to open that up. And you've got estimated investment cash flows here.
Which are fun.
Can expand this a little bit, give you more charts. A lot of data.
Yeah, so if you're looking at somebody who's buying a duplex or even a triplex and planning on living in one side of it, etc., and they want to know the numbers, this is an easy way. Nice about calculators is all of us went through real estate school to get licensed, and this is stuff they taught us that we'll never use again because there are calculators to do it, right?
Yeah.
You got to put the numbers in.
Yeah. All right, rent estimates here, and this is pulling in information through Rent Hub. For any of you that use that, they've got a partnership there and it's pulling in that data for you.
Yep.
And then last but not least, internet service providers, which is just really interesting to throw in under calculators. But because Cotality is plugged in with so many different data points, they're able to pull this based on specific properties. It's pulling in for Pine Ridge. If you want to add a property, you can add a property or pull in the contact. If you've got an address in for a contact, it'll pull it in based on that address that you put in. But it's part of, when the buyers are trying to calculate whether they can afford it or not, and you're going through all these different calculators. Hey, let's go ahead and look at what the different providers are for that address and see what it's going to look like for you.
Yeah. And then I mean, if you've got somebody that's got a smart home, right, and they need so many, uploads and downloads, this is important too. Or somebody's working from home, maybe multiple people working from home. I mean, that was one of the biggest complaints people got as they moved down here. And because they started working from home down here in 21, they ran out of bandwidth in some of these areas because they didn't have high-speed internet. So
for sure. So I know we've got 2 minutes left. That's all the calculators and the CMAs. But what I want to point out is a couple of things. So one, today was recorded. So we're not launching this until next month. And if you feel like you're going to lose everything out of your brain between now and then, you can refer to this recording. It will be on our YouTube channel. So this is our YouTube channel. I also want to point out, we get a lot of questions regularly about the concept of CMAs and how to do CMAs. We've got a lot of videos on this channel about CMAs, also including other programs. So maybe you don't like the Matrix program. Maybe you hate everything I went through today. That's fine. We've got lots of programs with CMAs in there. So if you want, you can just come out here, type in CMA, and pull those open. So CMA Tools of the MLS is another MLS Monday that we've done twice before. It'll show you all the other tools that have CMAs. And Jason talks a lot about the art of picking the right properties. Today, it's not about the art. It wasn't about the pricing. It was just showing you the tool. But if you need more handholding in that arena, definitely come out and view this here. We will also be uploading another video on the CMA that'll be a shorter video, like a quick 20-minute run through. So as we get closer to this CMA tool launching, you'll have another reference point to come out here. For any of you that missed our new search MLS Monday, or maybe you're not comfortable with the new search, that video is out here as well. That did launch a couple weeks ago. See if I can put in the right title. So you can come out and watch a quick 20-minute video here on how to run that new search. Because when you're using that new CMA and you click find more properties, it is going to utilize that new search here for you to pull open those properties into that comparison. So you're going to want to be comfortable with that before using the new CMA.
Yeah, and then also subscribe to this.
Most importantly.
Most important, subscribe to it. Anytime we upload a new video, you guys be notified.
Yes.
And you can always get back to it and know which one it is. There's an old one out here, there's a new one.
Yeah.
So we
Make sure you use the
actually
new
want
one.
the new one, and go ahead and subscribe to it and you'll get information. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. Have yourself a fantastic week.
I have one question, Jason.
Oh, question. Hang on.
Oh, just as great info.
Perfect.
Looking forward to the new CMA. Thank you, Janet.